about home. They're married to real estate.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to the podcast for people who love real estate and want to become inspired and informed. Whether you are a newbie real estate agent looking to get tips, learn a thing or two, or maybe you're a savvy property owner who wants to get a jump on the market, this is the place for you. We discuss our passion for real estate and people, and we bring together our personal experiences as well as our guests to learn from each other. You'll hear from experts in sales coaching, real estate law, mortgage lending, investing, and many local business owners on how to grow your business or your investment in real estate. I'm Mary McCauley.
I'm Mary Elliott.
I'm Mary Forster.
And we are
Married to Real Estate.
Hey, everybody. Happy holidays. It
Woohoo!
is the crew with Married to Real Estate back again for another episode. And we're going to do sort of a recap so far of what we've, of the guests that we've had for the last 3 episodes. And it's sort of an end of year review and sort of a conversation between the 3 of us about how we think things are going and what's going on with the podcast and how we feel and what we've learned and what we want to do for next year and all of that sort of fun stuff. So
Let's do it.
Yeah. What do you guys think? Good plan. Good plan. So tell me anything new with you guys. What's going on real estate-wise, life-wise?
I'll start. I had my birthday this past week.
Yes, you did. Happy birthday, Mary McCauley.
Trip around the sun. But what was fun was it was a lot of unexpected,
Showered. You were
gifts.
showered.
Yes, I was.
Yes.
And it was just like
With love.
I felt so blessed,
So
and just it
sweet.
was like I'm completely blown away. So thank you to all that participated in all the merriment.
Love it.
Very good.
Much deserved. Much deserved. People on my team who are new, they just rave about Mary McCauley. They rave about how wonderful she is.
You're having such an impact in that
You really
productivity
are.
group.
You are.
You really are.
I love doing it.
Yeah, and obviously it's showing back at you, right? Because I'm sure a lot of those people were like hugging and excited for your birthday.
They were
and,
very.
Yeah.
Flowers were delivered. I mean, it was
oh
great.
gosh,
Yeah.
it's amazing. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm sorry I didn't send you flowers.
Yeah, thanks.
I sent them to you
Thanks,
virtually.
ladies.
I
Yeah.
sent them to you virtually.
You did.
Yeah,
you
yeah,
did,
yeah,
which
yeah.
counts.
I
so,
sent
yes.
flowery words.
You did.
Yeah.
And that counts too. So thank you both.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Well, happy birthday to you.
Thank you.
It's very, very nice to be loved on your birthday. So that's wonderful. How about you, madam?
Well, let's see. There's always something going on in the Forster household. So let's see. I got a chance to provide 2 referrals one to a realtor in Seward, Alaska, which is the very southern tip.
Okay.
When you take a cruise up to Alaska, you usually stop in Seward.
All right.
And then they usually kind of train you up to Anchorage, and then into Pasadena.
Oh, nice.
So finding really good realtors for people is kind of an art, and it's who do we know who's really awesome, and then can we get a referral from a client, and so it's fun. And now somebody on my team said, Mary, I need somebody near Camp David. Camp David? Are you kidding me? Who is going? Well, anyway, it's out there. It's way out there. It's out in the sticks, but
Yeah.
anyway, fairly close to Camp David. So
Cool.
So we'll see. That's the
Very
next
cool.
charge.
Yeah.
Good.
That sounds like fun.
And what
Kinda
about
get
you,
to
Mary?
become like a travel. I'm just thinking about that. You become sort
Need
of
to
like a
travel.
travel agent or something.
Oh.
Like you have to go to these locations.
Let me talk to my
right?
CPA about that.
You should work that out.
Yes,
I think
definitely.
a trip to every location you're
Right,
referring
for your
I
to.
real
talked to him
estate
yesterday.
business.
Yes, I must give him a call. Okay, great.
Yes, solid business planning
you,
for
thank you.
2022.
Thank
You're
you, Mary
welcome.
Elliott.
Yep,
Yeah.
yep. I had a really cool week that I wasn't necessarily expecting. I got an email last week saying from the town manager, because I had applied to be a member of a new committee that was forming in Groton called the Destination Groton Committee. And I had got the email from the town manager saying, you're one of the ones we'd like to interview for this position, and please arrive in front of the select board to be interviewed. And yes. and
Drum roll.
all of the 5 people that came for the 5 membership committee got appointed.
You would have beaten them out.
I know.
How many selectmen were there?
Pretty
Select people
sure.
were there.
How many select people are there? I think it's 6. I don't.
So
I
you
should
had-
know that
Well,
better.
congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Congratulations.
You're going to
That's
do
great.
a lot for Groton being a destination. I
I'm
love
really,
that.
really excited about it. I think the charge of the committee itself is not, how fast can we exponentially grow Groton and, reap it for all of the tax rewards we can. It really is, how do we grow Groton with keeping a rural small town feel intact and keeping that, but attracting more people and more businesses. We have a huge thing coming to town, which is the Groton Hills Music Center, which is going to just attract
yes.
so much business
Yes.
into and so
Indian
much
Hills,
traffic.
yes.
Well, I think
Yeah.
they changed the name, right?
They
Not
did
Indian
change the
Hill
names.
anymore.
It's I have to retrain my brain. It's been Indian Hill Music Center since I was a kid. I went there for voice lessons when I was little, and it was in Groton, but now they've changed it to Groton Hills Music Center.
Which I think is a good brand. That's probably a
Yeah,
good
it's
idea.
brand.
For them.
Yeah, and Groton is hilly, and we've got hills, and it's on a hill. It's beautiful. I mean, it does speak to like what you get when you come to Groton. You get some hills and some views.
There you go.
Yeah.
Love it.
And so,
So-
for our audience who don't know what select people are, is in the other parts of the world, counties rule the
That's
world.
right.
So they're
Yep.
like the county council. So she had to go before the full county council equivalent of all the select people.
That's
from your
right.
town. So that's a pretty big deal.
It was nerve
That
wracking, and it was nerve wracking. Yet, there are a couple people on that board that I've also known my whole life, or have known me since I was a baby, and walked me to school at kindergarten kind of times. But all of a sudden they've flipped into this role in my life of select board member, and I'm. Please let me
Time
on.
to adults. Miss
Yeah,
Mary.
it's time to
adult.
be the adult in Groton now. It's really a passing of the torch. My parents were on so many committees while I was growing up. This is now my turn,
Oh,
I
the
guess.
next generation.
Yeah.
Super.
Yeah.
Love
Congratulations.
Love it. Yay.
Thank you. It's very, very exciting.
That is very exciting.
Okay, so we should let's just jump into going through. I would like to just sort of go through our last 3 episodes with Jan and Frank and Dave, and talk about, between the 3 of us, what we each pulled out of those episodes. What stood out to us, what really you've ruminated on maybe since then and has stood out, and what our audience can get from those things as well.
Yeah.
When I look at the Jan episode, inspiration is obviously the overarching theme of her and her work and what she does with people, and how she sort of interacts with people, and when I was listening to it the first time, she reminded me of those goosebump moments. When we all get those goosebump moments in life, that something, it's like somebody telling you to pay attention. This is a goosebump moment. Somebody, like that conversation I had with her on the phone about, should I join Keller Williams or not? And I got goosebumps. That was like, pay attention, Mary, do this. And I think that's something really good for us to just take away from that, is listen,
Yeah, I had written down just some of the comments she made, and one that relates to that is that nothing happens by coincidence, and that you also have to be alert to the signs
Yes.
of opportunity.
Yes.
And I don't know if that's because I'm also just finished High Five Habit,
right.
which retraining the bouncer in your brain. So if people haven't read that by Mel Robbins, it's awesome.
I really need to get on that. I know you guys have
And
all
I
been
like the
reading it.
audiobook version because she narrates it. So I feel like, Mel and I are BFFs.
Oh,
and,
yeah. You're bestie. Yeah, great.
She'll be on. I'm going to
Great.
have her on.
Awesome. Can't wait.
Of course you are.
Yeah.
Be amazing. I believe that,
Yes,
Mary.
I'm
I
gonna-
believe that.
I'm going to put that out in the universe.
Yes.
Manifest that, as Jan says.
I'm
and
sure
that's
she'd
gonna
love
happen.
to be your friend.
Yeah.
I'm sure she would.
Yeah.
Well, for Jan, it's so hard for me to kind of separate her from the many times that I kind of interact with her. And to me, it's like self-empowerment in the most generous, most limitless way, right? So that I can be whoever I want to be. I can have whatever I want to have. And that it will be very, what I think is called heart-centered. That's what she uses a lot. Is,
Yeah.
we are heart-centered. So whatever it is, it comes out in a very, really positive way. What struck me was the the strength that she had in speaking to us.
But also vulnerability.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah, like
The
she
both
got
of them.
there.
Yes.
Yeah, it's really an interesting, like,
Didn't she
charismatic
just take over the
mix.
room? She just took over the room.
Yeah.
And she's gorgeous. She's just gorgeous human
Inside
being.
and out.
Yeah.
Inside and out. And so I felt like I was totally captured. And I know, there's a rumor that goes around our team that Matt and Jan are going to be the next Joanna and
Chip and Joanna
Gaines of HGTV. And can't you just see it? You know,
Yeah.
just get to see them.
Yeah.
And just very powerful, generous people. So that's my immediate response.
She's got that personality that makes you pay attention and want to listen. Not just makes you, but like you want to pay attention.
yeah.
You're compelled to listen. Right. And that was something that stuck out to me that she said to me on that podcast was, the teachers have been there all of your life, and it's just whether or not you were paying attention to them. And like you just said, Mary, it's whether, you're paying attention to what's out there. And that I love too, as it's after listening to her and learning from her, I feel like my goosebump sensors are up a little bit more, and I'm trying to pay attention to those moments and listen and find the teachers. And I mean, the two of you are both of that to me as well. Like you're both my teachers, and I'm so grateful that you guys have come into my life and I've been able to learn what I've already learned from you, and then, what I'm going to learn from you in the future.
And what we're learning together.
And what we're learning together and what we're teaching together. And, all of that. I am so glad that I paid attention to those little moments in my brain. I got a goosebump that said, I want to be with these people. Let's get them together. And I think that's a lesson that I'm learning. And with Yun's sort of voice on my shoulder, really trying to pay attention to much more and act upon, not just feeling it, but then go do the thing.
Right. So we get stopped by our limiting beliefs so much. And no, you shouldn't be doing that, you know, and I think what she reinforced so much, Mary Elliott, is that when you said, I want to start a podcast, you went forward with it. You put it out there in the universe, and then you collected two other Marys. And we got connected because the universe put us together through COVID.
Right.
And so for our audience, we had a daily kind of a power up meeting in our office with Jan as our team lead. And whoever wanted to be on it was on it. And it got us through COVID. It got us through professionally. It got us through, kind of personally and emotionally. And so from that grew Mary Elliott. I want to start a podcast. Who do I want to start it with? And then we obviously made some kind of impression on you.
Yeah.
Not just our name.
It's not just the name, I promise everyone out there. It's not. It's this wildly loud connection I felt to both of you. Yeah.
And I'm so
I
grateful,
agree.
too. I mean, you just said you were grateful to us, but I'm so grateful, too, that this is an expansion in my life. I saw the eye doctor yesterday, after some surgery this week. And so I said, can I wear mascara? She said, now, wait a minute now, your infection rate. She said, so what do you want to wear mascara for? I said, I'm in a podcast. She said, you're doing a podcast? And so I said, yes, and you can too.
Yes.
Right.
Thank you, Mary Elliott.
Oh, you're so
I think
welcome.
the ripple effect from that has gone
Yes.
on, because there are others that have looked into it. And,
Yes.
Yeah, there are
because of
some
us.
on the heels
So,
coming.
yeah.
That's right. So it's just cool to watch that ripple effect and paying attention to that. That was something that I really took away from her episode, is to pay attention and use your strengths. And like you said, she's so powerful to listen to that just you want to.
Look out for the limiting beliefs also. Look out for them.
Right.
Yep. Exactly
Beware.
right.
Beware.
So she also talked about, setting goals for your futures, and I thought that it might be fun for us to just talk about what we want. What are our future goals? We don't have to say our biggest, baddest dreams, but, talking things into being is something that Jan really, really pushes and talks about a lot. So I thought it might be a good idea if the three of us say what our big, bad, hairy dreams are for ourselves in the future. And I'm putting everybody on the spot right now. I didn't tell anybody we were going to do this. So.
Well, I can surprise you.
Okay.
So let's see. So I'm the eldest of us, and
Wisest.
Well, thank you. And I don't know about that, but I have had a bunch of careers, and really most satisfying careers in my life. And my husband just retired. Sort of. He's working 2 days a week.
Yeah, right.
And so now
Retired,
and even though I worked at AARP for many, many years, I didn't know how to retire.
Yes.
So I'm still working.
Yes.
And but we're going to be traveling.
Nice.
We're going to add, and we just actually booked a trip in late next year, and we are doing service. We joined the Westford Rotary, both of us, and we've already thrown ourselves into service there, and that is a lot of fun.
Yeah,
that's a
great.
lot of fun,
Yep.
and get to meet some really powerful people, powerful and wonderful giving people. So that's enjoyable, and so and dancing. And we are ballroom dancers, and I know Mary Elliott has a plan that we're going to have a competition somewhere
have
or an
to.
event.
Just an event. We don't have to
dance-off.
compete because you're the clear winner. But
A nice, lovely evening.
Yes.
Lovely. Oh, a dress-up
a
evening.
dancing
Yes,
with the
let's have
Marys
a
evening.
gala, a dancing gala.
So we met
I'm so
30
in.
years ago at an Arthur Murray studio in Falls Church, Virginia, just outside of D.C. And we married a year and a half later. And so we're back dancing. We had danced a long time, but I had to stop over, a number of years. But started during COVID, and so we are dancing.
Yoo-hoo.
That's amazing.
Lovely.
Dancing through
so
life
happy.
together. I love
Dancing
it.
through life. So it's service, continuing to build my referral business in real estate.
And traveling to every destination you're referring
traveling
to.
my, whatever
Don't
my
forget.
CPA
Yeah.
says, Mary.
That's right. Yep.
So there you go. That's my world.
I love
it.
it. That
Love
sounds
it.
like a wonderful future for the two of you.
It really
Yeah.
does.
Yeah.
It really does.
Kind of our goal for everybody, right, is when we get to a certain age, we can just make the choices we want to make and go do
right
them.
now.
Yeah.
Do them right now.
Well, that's
Yeah.
what I was. Yeah, you said that at a certain age, but what I was thinking, as Mary Forrester was speaking, it was a life by design. It's one of the Keller Williams mantras or codes or whatever.
Yep.
Creeds, however you
Sure,
want to
creed,
put that. 10
yeah.
Commandments. I'm not really sure.
Yes.
But whatever it is, it's etched in stone
Yeah.
and should be followed. And I've been thinking about that a lot with the new year. Right around the corner. About what does my life by design look like?
Yeah.
And it does include travel. It does include ramping up my business, and I have sort of a vision for that. It does include doing even more charity stuff, which I love to do, as you guys know.
Seems impossible for you to do any more than
I
you're already
know.
doing.
I just added that 100 Women Who Care. I'm going to do that. I've
my
got some other
gosh.
things.
Oh, you part of that? You just joined it?
We just started a Greater Westford chapter.
Oh,
that's so
super.
Yeah, I'm really excited.
Because Sandy Rainey was into that in
Yeah,
Chelmsford.
okay.
Yes, right.
Yeah.
It's a very cool concept. Do you want to explain
It
that to
is.
people
So
that are listening?
Basically, yes, thank you.
You're welcome.
You get 100 women to each donate $100 a quarter, and each quarter, so you raise $10,000, and you vote on collectively a charity to give it to, a local charity. So it's an amazing amount of money in and of itself. It's a great amount of money, but for a small charity that doesn't have a big budget or any of that, it hasn't grown, it's a really good opportunity. I mean, it could really make a difference.
Really could. Yeah.
And so I'm very, very excited. I mean, I'm going to be one of the board members or whatever the terminology is, and then we'll get more people involved. But I've been involved with the website. I did our logo, so
Of course.
so
Check.
all the stuff I like to the creative fun, and just and what's interesting is one of the women that invited me to join is a neighbor of mine, but I live on kind of a busy street, and she's on like an offshoot of it, and we've met a few times over the years, but our circles just never really collided. And same with the two other women that she invited to be on the board and start this. So
Really?
it's just, I've basically am getting to know three brand
All of your
new
neighbors.
women. Yeah, expanding. Well, they're not all my neighbors, just the one, but yes. But I just thought, isn't that funny that,
Yeah.
you can be in, shop at the same supermarket and have some of the same friends. We know some of the same people, but we've just never really spent any time together. So I'm excited about that adventure. I'm always happy to meet new people. I love that.
Yeah.
Which is why I think all of us have that,
Yeah.
as realtors, we like new people.
We do
and
like new people.
experiences and
Yeah.
getting to know people. And, I
Sounds like such a cool thing. It reminds me of this other thing I just saw on Facebook, which is a family or people, a group of friends or a family goes out to a restaurant. They all bring $100 bill. They eat, they, order their food, they do their thing, they have a great time. It's, their holiday time together. And the bill is never, say it's $1,200, it's breakfast or whatever.
Breakfast, right.
So 12 people are there, let's say. So $1,200 at the table. They pay the bill, and whatever's left, they just give to the waitress.
Love that.
I love that so much.
That gives me chills.
Me
goosebumps.
too.
Yeah.
I want to go do it so much.
Doing that.
That's life-changing.
Is it?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. And I saw a terrible story the other day where the owner of the restaurant took the money away from one of the people.
No.
Yeah, so that was the bah humbug piece of it.
Bah humbug.
Yeah,
Wow.
but it's a great idea.
It is.
Yeah.
It is a great idea.
I want to try
It's
and
a
arrange
difference
something
maker.
like that. It is, and I can just see what that would do to somebody in that position, especially at the holidays. You're counting every penny, and every purchase is a stressor on you, and just to have that happen, I want to do that.
You can.
Let's go.
Okay, let's do it.
Let's do it.
Okay.
Our next Married to Real Estate lunch.
Ooh. Okay.
Oh, yeah. That's great.
Let me have another closing first, guys. Okay.
Okay.
You do have
Mary
6 kids.
Elliott.
I do have so many kids. Yeah.
Everyone, help out Mary Elliott. Another closing.
About
Speaking of
somebody else.
charity work,
Yes.
Mary.
You are not a charity.
No. We're doing just fine.
Yes, just kidding.
Yeah, but actually that leads me into Frank, because Frank's a big thing that I got from Frank was, it's okay for me to love Facebook. Like, it's okay for me to be as in love with Facebook as I am, because it really does sort of connect us all the way that we want to be connected, in non-invasive ways. And then you can, I don't want to call it invasive, but by sending, like he was talking about, noticing that somebody was going to have a baby, and 9 months later sending the gift without real much contact in between. And then you can extend that sort of, not intrusive, but the like physical piece of your caring into their lives. But when you're just watching on Facebook, you're there, you're enthralled with what's going on. Like, I knew about the, turkey pizzas you do with your kids, and like little things that are just so endearing about what makes up the people we're friends with. I love that so much. So thanks, Frank, for making me feel cool about loving Facebook.
That's really funny. Yes, thank you, Frank. Yeah. That's so funny. For me, with Frank, I just wrote down a few things that he had said that kind of stuck in my head, which was, it's simple. Mm-hmm. It's about people and building relationships.
That's right.
And I was like, it is simple. I tend to want to complicate it, redesign it, turn it upside down, put a bow on it, maybe some glitter, you know. But it's simple. It doesn't have to be that complicated. So that was one thing that has been rolling around in my head. And then just having a serving attitude, which I absolutely feel a kinship to him over that. Mm-hmm. And I had never really spoken that out loud, I guess, or put it in that perspective.
That's surprising, because that is really seems like how you operate. Is
I feel
just
like
out
I
of
can't
service.
help myself.
Yeah, no, it seems that way to me as well.
I never was like, there's a name for that. Just,
Yes.
out of my mind. And then that life and business just come together. We were talking about life coach and how he didn't set out to necessarily be a life coach, but that's
Right.
just the way that life and business go hand in hand. And I think in our profession, then I know there are others too, but, we never turn it off. Like, we're always us, and we're always a realtor or in real estate thinking about it. So I think that is just a completely, cemented together, meshed up,
intertwined.
mash up. Yeah. And then the other thing that he thought, and I thought this is so true, was that you never know who you have an impact on. Yes. And so, Frank, if you're listening, you've had an impact on me for sure, and obviously Mary and Mary
And
Forrester,
always Mary Forrester,
who
yeah.
brought you in.
Yes, because he's my coach.
Yes.
And when I went looking for a coach, I was looking for somebody to coach me on building a business by referral. And I forget how I got to him, but I called him up and had a conversation. He never pushed his coaching business on me, ever. I said, can I call you back sometime? He said, yes, call me back. I called him back, and I had another conversation with him. And what we had in common was Brian Buffini's coaching system out of California. That's how I kind of, that was our common denominator. And then I found out he was a Marine, a retired Marine recruiter. And I thought, well, that's kind of unusual. And I didn't think I would connect with that. But he is golden. He is just gold through and through, totally imperfect and perfectly gold. And I just love him. And I think the message I get from Frank all the time is consistency. Now, we're imperfect, right? Imperfect, be imperfectly consistent, and or consistent imperfectly, and he gets to. I get refocused by him all the time. So those messages that you all heard, I'm so touched. I'm really, really touched because I talk to him so often, and
that's great.
And he said to me after the podcast, he said, "You know, Mary, I listened to the podcast." And I realized I never answered a question. I said,
Really?
I said, well, we were very happy. I have no idea what you didn't answer, but he went back, and that's the kind of accountability he puts himself through.
Yeah.
And as we know that as a Marine, and he's a very dedicated human being. So I appreciate you both for being willing to have him on.
Thrilled to have him.
I'm glad we didn't miss the opportunity.
Oh,
Yeah.
good.
Me too.
Good.
Me too.
Excellent.
Thrilled
He'll be
to have
happy
him.
about that too.
Once I went home after that episode and found him on Facebook and friend him, we have some friends in common. Like, he knows people that I've known my whole life.
Yes.
And I'm not surprised by that. Nashua's not that far, and, we're sort of in the same circles, but it just it reinforced that we're all connected, and we're, these people in our lives are all put here for a reason.
Exactly.
Yeah. Love it. Very cool. I will say, two things on that episode I have to say. I want to correct myself because I said unextricable, and I will never forgive myself for that. My mother will never forgive me.
Your mother,
Yes.
your
My
mother.
mother is rolling over in a grave.
We're all imperfect, Mary.
Yeah.
Yes, my imperfect showed up that day, and I do know that it is inextricable. Okay,
That's really funny.
All right, so I had to.
All right.
I made that note going
Okay,
through.
so now
Yeah.
you can let that one set that free.
Set it free.
That's gone.
Yeah,
done.
and then also I really do want to recommend the Brian Buffini podcast because
The Tuesday podcast,
Yes.
every Tuesday, yes.
it's really, really inspirational. I love it. It's a lot of these people that we're having on are people that sort of remind me of Brian Buffini and what he's all about. And Frank Menard is, sort of, what's the word, disciple, follower
He is.
of Brian Buffini. And I would think that he'd want people listening to Brian Buffini as well. It's one of those touch points that I try to listen to at least once a week. That gets me motivated, gets me reconnected with why I'm doing what I'm doing, what I have to offer to people. Mostly, it's more about what my service is to people than what I can gain out of doing it. So I would just really recommend people look that up and listen. After you listen to us, of course.
And then last but not least.
And then last but not least, in any sense, was Dave McGillivray.
Yep.
And he was incredible. He had so many good things to say and so much positivity to bring. And it's just struck me so funny with him being my best friend is from Medford, and she tells me all the stories about kids from Medford, right? And like what Medford's like and all of that. And I can see that in him, and he seems, like a tough sports kid. That was his sort of thing when he was young, but he's got so much heart and so much positivity and so much creativity, and that sort of box of what a Medford kid is not anything where he stayed, and that's beautiful to watch. Yet he followed through with his same purpose. I want to be a sports star, I want to be a sports star. And he did it in the most beautiful, positive, thoughtful, contributing way to society that one really can. I mean, his ripple effect is bananas.
I agree. I have a few points from our podcast with him that, I loved. Never allow anyone to tell you that you're not good enough or you don't belong. Find another path, which I think he's the living, breathing example of.
I wrote something like that as well,
there's always another way.
Yeah.
You don't fail, you learn. And I think, we have that in our culture with Keller Williams that, it's not failure, it's just a learning experience.
Yeah.
And if you think of things that way, then you never fail.
It takes a lot of pressure off when you start feeling that way.
Yeah.
It's not a failure, and you can say, okay, I didn't just fail this. What can I learn out of this? I think Jan stressed that with us a lot too, is, you know, you're not failing. It's what can you learn from what just happened.
Yeah,
you know?
I also loved don't set reckless goals, and I hadn't really thought of that because, you know, with the new year coming and everybody has a resolution and you're like, I'm going to lose, you know, whatever, 50 pounds, and, you know, so you're going to start by starving yourself,
So
right?
anorexia?
That would be, reckless. Right, bulimia, right.
Yes.
We don't recommend those at all, and
Right.
those would be reckless.
Yes, it would. Yes, it would be.
So, you know, I like the idea of, you know, it's a process and there are steps to get there, and, you know, like he had said about running in the rain, you know, it's getting up, it's raining out. Well, run in the rain, you know, that's fine.
Yep.
So I loved that. Let's see, what else did he say that I loved? We all have defining moments. Some are good and some are not so good, you know, and I think that that's a really interesting balance to that, you know, sometimes you think, oh, you know, this happened to me and it's a defining moment and it's negative. But it can really be a positive. And then there are positive ones that are positive, you know, just by their nature.
Yep.
So I thought that was interesting, you know, defining big moments in your life don't have to be bad.
Well, like for him, the death of his grandfather, right? That's a defining moment in his life, and that's negative. And most people would look at that as a negative thing, but he was able to find inspiration out of that.
Being in the graveyard.
Yeah. It's so true, Mary.
Yep. And then I love too that he said sometimes it's harder to quit than to stay. And he was talking about a job when he had run across the country, and he had and then they basically fired him, and he was like almost relieved because he would have just stayed and not taken that chance or that leap of faith or whatever that is. Whatever it is,
whatever the thing is.
He's really motivational. I left here on such a high. You know, when he said, he started out by saying he was vertically challenged. And I thought, what is he talking about? And, you know, I'm 5'3", and he's 5'4", but I didn't notice it, you know, and I didn't notice it in how he carried himself, but yet it was the first thing out of his mouth. I'm vertically challenged.
Yeah.
He used it, of course, as a foundation for the rest of his story. But it was something I didn't notice. I notice a lot about people.
Yeah, isn't it
I was so
it's
inspired.
a big presence.
Yes.
Right.
He was also very vulnerable. You know, and for somebody who has run 49 Boston marathons and been director of 35 of them, and of course went through the bombing and whatever else, and open heart surgery. Yes, exactly. He was extremely vulnerable and shared, hey, I'm not telling anybody I have a heart condition. No way in heck I want to tell anybody.
I thought that was interesting.
That
So
was
did I.
powerful.
Yeah.
And then when somebody said to him, thank you so much for sharing that, because I immediately went to have some tests.
Yep.
So he was just amazing. And I've shared his podcast with a whole bunch of people as well.
Oh, good.
I was listening to Kevin McGovern's podcast the other night, and he had a baseball player on. Baseball player said the same thing. He was short. He went to play basketball. The coach said the same thing to him that said to Dave McGilvery, and how he responded. This baseball player, and I think the name was Fry. Does that mean anything to you?
Nope.
Must have been a Red
Sorry.
Sox. It
We're
must
really
have
not
been.
a baseball
Yes.
follower, unfortunately.
My
it was
husband
the
probably does.
Yeah, but the same story, very same story. So it is that defining moment, Mary. You know, it's very much the defining moment, and it's not always positive.
No.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. No. It's
And what
not.
you choose to do with it. You know, that was kind of one thing he said too. You know, in those moments, what you decide to do next can make all the difference.
And how you frame it, even in your mind.
Right.
And that was a big thing for him. Is just everything is I'm grateful for this. This is a good experience, or that there's some sort of positive light to put on it. That's huge. If you're able to do that, that is some serious mental gymnastics all the time. And it's impressive to be able to do that.
Tough.
A med for
Yeah.
tough. Exactly right. Yeah.
Just really knew it. Worked it out. Yeah.
Yeah, he really got it. And I also struck with him and Yun, same quality, like an early evidence of them being really tenacious.
Well, and self-awareness.
Self-aware.
At a young age.
Yes.
At 13, I was
I
like,
know.
what was I doing at 13?
I was singing Madonna into my hairbrush. That's all I was doing.
I know, right? Changing the rubber bands in my braces.
Yeah.
I think that was like a big deal. I don't know.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, and they're having like these incredible life moments and
yeah.
like decisions and inward thoughts, and I'm going to be like this from now on, and it's going to be hard, but I'm going to do it. It's incredible. I really just cared
very
if I could
admirable.
buy a sweater at Benetton or not, you know. Another big thing with Dave was he loved that billboard he saw that spoke to him with just accomplisher on it. And I think that's something that I'm going to try and sort of internalize a little bit more, because I can find myself without a daily goal or I got to get done kind of thing. I know what I want to get done by the end of the year, you know, but I would becoming an accomplisher and making lots of littler lists and lots of smaller things to accomplish in my day. You know, you just do that every day, in and out, and you get that sense of I am an accomplisher. Like I have finished the things that I needed to get done. I think it happens a little bit more towards the holidays, where I'm like, I don't need to do this today. I could do it tomorrow, you know? And that doesn't really ultimately serve my mental health well, or even just my business well. So after listening to that, it really inspires me to just every day have some stuff to accomplish and check it off the list.
Yeah, and I feel like I think all three of our guests so far have, none of it's rocket science.
Yeah.
It's just somehow they put it together and say it in a way that makes so much more sense than if I had said it to myself in my own mind, or, you know, something that I would never string those words or concepts together to come out with, you know, feeling that same way that I did after hearing it from them.
I know. Yeah. I mean, they're really all very eloquent and well thought out people. So good job to us picking them for being on our podcast. Yes.
They're all heart-centered and they're extremely diverse.
Yes.
So I just loved it. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you, ladies.
I think we can pat ourselves on the back.
I think we can do that. I think we can do that at the end of our first year. I don't think we're going to call this the end of our season, right? Because this is only, you know,
Number
6 or 7 episodes.
Seven,
Yeah.
I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
So not an end of season, but end of year recap of where we're at. And then, so starting in January, though, we're going to go to every week. You're going to hear us and see us every single week. You guys ready?
More of this. They're ready.
They're ready?
Our
Okay.
listeners are ready.
I think we're going to get maybe a little bit, because we'll have more opportunity to have more guests, right? So we might get a little bit more nitty gritty into real estate and like the inner workings of real estate, deals, lenders, lawyers, what that all looks like, you know, that kind of thing.
Yep.
Do you have any other aspirations for what we do next year?
Oh, I think very much the people who give back a lot and are constant examples to us, you know, as to motivate us and other people to give back.
Yeah.
And,
The other thing, encouraging others to do this or come on and talk about themselves or their business or, you know, their hopes and dreams, whatever it may be.
Absolutely.
To encourage them to open up and put that out in the universe.
We really want to hear from like the small business owners that have had this, you know, the dream of opening a jewelry shop, say, in a small town, and here they are doing it, and what that feels like, and, you know, what got them there, what were their defining moments that got them there, that either held them back or propelled them forward. Those are the kind of stories I'm really interested in getting into next year.
I think that speaks to that everyday people can be, you know, inspiring and successful and, you know, the same as some of these bigger people in our lives.
Yeah, they're very special. Very special people, but we're all the same.
Every neighbor,
but it's the overarching thing is that we all have insecurities. No matter if you're, you know, the director of the Boston Marathon or you're Mary Elliott from Groton, Mass. We're all very similar. We have hopes, goals, tenacities, failures.
Human.
You know, we're human. And the more we can talk to people of a wide range of abilities and skills, I think the clearer that's all going to become.
Yep.
You know?
Yeah, and I love that, what binds us together.
Me too. I love that so much. So, I don't know if this binds us together in any way whatsoever, but I have yet to complete our YouTube channel. So it will, I've decided, I'm saying it here because Dave also said this, is tell other people because then you're held to it. I'm saying it on the podcast. It will be up and running by January 1st. The end. I'm done.
All right.
January 1st.
I'm going to put it out there that our website will also be
Yes. Okay.
live.
Okay.
So that's my job.
Okay.
And,
Yeah, I think
yes.
that makes sense. It's like January 1st,
Yep.
we'll have everything ready up to go. But people can still email us. If you guys want to be on the podcast, email us.
Definitely.
Where you can also find us on Facebook. But email is marriedtorealpod@gmail.com. So email us there if you want to be on, or if you know somebody who would make a great guest for us, or if you have suggestions and don't want to hear the sound of our
right, because I
voice.
think one of the important things to us is we're on this journey together, the three of us, but we're also on this journey with you, everyone out there that's listening, and
Yeah.
our guests. So,
Yeah.
you know, we have a community and we're learning this together, and, you know, come along for the ride.
Come grow with us. Yeah. So, okay, guys, I think we might be towards the end of our
I think
time,
so.
but so I have a quote for us. I have two quotes for us. Sorry about the paper sound, Nick.
Love our producer, Nick.
Love our producer, Nick. We want to say a great shout out to Nick because he does so much work for us, and he's like furiously scrambling as soon as we're done. He's got a nice little plaque that says producer now that he's going to put over his desk. He was just holding it up. It's so cute. So, two quotes I could not choose because there were two overarching things that I wanted to, that I felt I wanted to impart. The first quote I found is actually from Jim Henson, and this is sort of embodies how I felt when I met the two of you, when your personalities started showing through to me. It says, "There's not a word yet for old friends who've just met." So being in this podcast with you guys, to me, this quote is just that. I knew as soon as I met you that there was going to be something. Like we'd have a friendship. There would be we'd at least have coffee together, you know, like
Yeah.
at the very least I knew there was going to be some sort of those two Marys in my life. And I'm really glad that we're having this chance and that you guys agreed to let me be your friend.
You're so funny. You're very funny. But I like that quote too. I think, you know, that because there are people that you meet and you just know instantly that,
Yeah.
you know, and you feel like you've known them forever. And I definitely feel that way about you two ladies.
Yeah.
Absolutely. From the beginning, it wasn't like I felt the need to have any kind of getting to know you. There wasn't really an awkward moment.
Yeah.
I feel like it was just a naturally flowing friendship from the very beginning. So
I totally
like
agree.
that quote a
Yeah,
lot.
that's actually what I was just thinking. Is there hasn't been the moment of like, well, we need to sit down and talk for 3.5 hours so you can tell me everything. I just kind of feel like I know everything. It's all right.
See, we even have the same thoughts.
It's true. It's so
Well,
true.
it's kind of like you make your first impression in the first 10 seconds,
Yeah.
you know? And so when I had some confusion about this quote, but then I was thinking, there is a word. There is a
Is
word.
there? What is it?
The word is trust.
Oh.
The word is trust.
Uh-oh.
That's a word that I...
Let Mary Forrester take it really deep.
I love that. That's why I love Mary Forrester.
So
There
you
goes
go.
that wisdom.
Oh, no,
That's
that was
one
good.
word. That's at least one word that comes to mind. Trust.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's good. I
That
love
is
it. Love
good.
it. Okay, and then the second part is the same idea. It's an anonymous quote, so who knows who said this, but it says, "Surround yourself with people that reflect who you want to be and how you want to feel. Energies are contagious." And that's exactly why these two people were friends that I would have forever when I first met them.
These two people.
These two people. You two.
They mean us.
Yeah, I mean Mary and Mary.
Yes.
But I really do like. I wanted to have what you guys gave off, and so that's what drew me to you. So your energies were magnetic.
Ditto.
Yes.
Ditto.
Yeah, contagious, absolutely.
Thank you.
And I
Yeah.
think that shows, you know, we get together,
I
we
think
have a
our
lot of
synergy is
laughs.
good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we definitely get along great, which is fun. And
Yeah, it is. And I can't wait for what the new year holds for
Yeah.
us, guys. All right. I think we are done for the year.
Yeah. Well, thank you, ladies.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Thank
Mary
you.
and Mary. And it's been so much fun.
Yeah.
Yes.
Happy holidays to everybody
Thank
out
you.
there.
Yes.
Enjoy your families. Enjoy
Happy
time
holidays.
together.
Okay.
All right.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.